Recording in progress.
Alrighty, welcome to your reading. Thank you for your patience. Let's triple check because that's what we do around here. No last names. All looking good over here. Now I'm trying to see. So you got your reading on May 26th, and then today is the 7th of the 7th month. 7/7. So that's like what? Like a month. It's like 6 weeks-ish, right? It's like you got the 26th. There's that last week of like 5 days, 4 days. So yeah, it's like, I'm trying to calculate just so I know. 4 plus 35, 7, 42 days. So yeah, it's like exactly like 6 weeks. So that's pretty damn good for someone that gets as many readings as I do these days. That's pretty damn good. So lighting, we're okay. My hair is like pretty much providing as much of the light as we need because it is gonna get changed up real soon. Shit's looking crazy. It is looking wild, but you know, that's what happens when you I don't have anything for you. But anyways, you are young. Damn, I expected with the last name like the one you had that you'd be like older. I've been getting a lot of real young clients these days. I think that's very happy with that. Very, very happy because it shows that, you know, I don't know what the fuck it shows. Maybe I'm funny in my content. Maybe I'm speaking to the younger generation, but I've always felt a connection to this younger generation. For sure. I don't know why. I feel more of a connection to like people born in 2000. My girlfriend's born in 2000. She's born, in November of your year. So it's like this. I don't know what it is. I think it's because you guys have your outer planets and Sag. That's what it is actually. Like your Pluto and your Chiron are like right on my moon. You got your Saturn over there in Taurus, close to my midheaven. Yeah, that's where the outer planets. And of course Uranus in Aquarius, like right next to my North Node, my Venus, and then Neptune right on my Mars. Yeah, all your outer planets are like, that's what it is. That's what it is. That's why I probably will continue to be more popular and really appreciate people from born in that time. So let me really quickly. Okay, so let's get right to it. So anyways, I'll go ahead and share the screen. Show you the chart. It's important to know, to see it. So we got right here in a Aries sun, right? This is the sun, 11 degrees Aries, with a moon in Aquarius, conjunct Uranus. Damn. Okay, now I know why you got this reading. Did you know that when you have your moon conjunct Uranus, you could legitimately have clairvoyant potential to have different talents like clairvoyance, like real psychic abilities. None of that bullshit. It's 2 degrees away. So that's an ultra psychic connection that's in the 8th house, which is like furthering that. So that's the thing right away that just pops out. Pop. It just really pops out. And besides that, I see your Cancer rising. I think that's a very, very fortunate rising sign for someone who has their sun and their moon in 2 masculine signs. The masculine signs are the fire signs, Aries, Sag, Leo, and the air signs, Libra, Aquarius, Gemini. And then the feminine are the earth and the water. Water being Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, earth being Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. So just real quick before we get into that, let's do an element count. So we obviously have water, fire, air. Where's the earth at? And earth. All right, so we got someone who has all the elements. That is excellent news. That means I don't have to give you the speech of what it means to be missing an element in your chart. So good on you. Open up soda and put it in a champagne glass, because that's how I fucking roll. I'm cussing a lot. It's usually not how I do it, but anyways, all right. So then, besides that, we see, and don't worry, I'm gonna flash my face back. I just like to, show the chart a little bit. So loaded 8th house, that's gonna be a huge topic. In Aquarius, I just had it's interesting. Like I literally I get bored, I lack enthusiasm because I say this every time, but I just had a reading where it was a loaded 8th house, but it was in Gemini, which is very similar to Aquarius. It's an air sign, so I was just there. Okay. So yeah, right off the bat, the Cancer rising, it's kind of like your mask. It's kind of like, I need to see. It's kind of like how you, and I'm gonna go back and switch to my face. It's kind of like how you project yourself in the world, right? So when you're Cancer rising, I mean, you have to look at it in the context of the rest of your chart, right? For instance, because you're in Aries, which is a fire sign, it's a very, very active, very it can be very domineering, very assertive. There's no problem. No Aries has any problem with being the first to do something and with just kind of jumping on board, right? And sometimes it can be a little bit intimidating for people, right? For more calm, feminine type people. Now, when you have Cancer rising, a good example of this is, Kanye. He's someone that has Cancer rising. But I was trying to think of a better example, but none came to me. I know it's something in there, but I know basically what it does is that it makes it so your energies, your primal energy, your energies, your sun, your moon, they have there's this real your outer mask, right, is way more calm, grounding. So you might have this a lot of intensity, a lot of of masculine energy, right? But because you're Cancer rising, it's going to have you way more nurturing, the way you appear, the way you look, the way you look, and people are going to be less intimidated than if you had I don't know, an Aries rising or something like that, right? So it definitely helps you in that regard. But yeah, Cancer rising people, so it makes the chart ruled by your moon. Typically we're talking about someone who the moon, it's important for you to follow the moon cycles, as they play a huge role in your life. You'll be even more affected by full moons and stuff than in full moons, and yeah, that and the like. So, but also, the emotions, they play a huge role in your life, which is interesting because your moon is Aquarius, and Aquarius moon people, they tend to be a little bit displaced, a little bit disconnected from their emotions, which can be very advantageous. But it's a lot of things in astrology you'll see. And if you ever want to learn from me, I offer very affordable one-on-one lessons. If you're ever interested in learning this sacred art, which one holy Indian woman once told me is the most, I can't remember what she said. She said it was the most worthy study of any study, astrology. I believe that 1000%. I know that it's a fact. To me, it's a fact. But anyways, so basically, the moon rules your chart because Cancer is ruled by the moon, and the moon is it's conjunct. It's in a sign that doesn't really like to feel. So this is very interesting, right? We have this already this dilemma, right? Where's the Mars? The Mars is in Taurus. And where's the Venus? In Pisces. Okay, wow, interesting. Lots of good share of the elements, and the Mercury's in Pisces. So right off the bat, I'm thinking, okay, this individual, Aquarius rising, or Aquarius moon, they can be the most especially you, so tapped into the collective. You will be someone, it's in the 8th house, so you'll be someone who's so tapped into the collective energies, and very humanitarian, really, really care. Maybe you'll even devote your entire, where's your midheaven? It's in Pisces. Yeah, maybe you'll even devote your entire career and your life purpose to helping people, to helping people, and to to doing something that's for the good of society. That's a very like Aquarius moon. Like my former best friend who became a Jehovah's Witness. Don't take that route. He was actually literally what you are. Fuck. Oh my God. No, this is fucking creepy, dude. My former best friend has everything in common with you. He was a this is weird. He had a Cancer rising, 1. He's an Aries, 2. He's an Aquarius moon, 3, but not conjunct Uranus. He had a Venus in Pisces, 4. His Mercury, I don't remember. I think it was in Aries. It could have been in Pisces, one of the two. And his Mars, I don't remember his Mars. I think it was in Gemini. The point is that that's kind of crazy and synchronistic, and that, obviously you're not him. He's born in 1990, but it just shows that like his job, before he like completely changed. Which, by the way, I'm going to give you the warning. Be very careful what like if you're I can't assume sexuality. I think a good I definitely have a good amount of men clients, but I can never assume that they're straight or they're gay or whatever the fuck sexualities exist. To me it's all the same, because it's just it's what you're attracted to. So it's I'll say instead of be very careful what partner you choose, right? Because this individual who had a very similar chart than you, so this is meant to be. This is a synchronicity, because this is meant for me to tell meant to tell you this, right? He really lost it. He really lost his whole life, because you guys both have Pisces Venus. He kind of gave himself to this woman, and he trusted her with everything. And she was a very kind of witchy, strong-willed. She is like Scorpio, and he was a boss. He was going to be a famous actor. He was getting to that level of one more year of work, kind of where I'm at with astrology now. In terms of I think if I work one more year without distractions, just nonstop, I'll be at a very, very good place, where I'm kind of set. That's where I think he was with acting, and then she came in his life, and he just dropped everything. It's a sad story. He dropped all his friends, all his family. So that's what can happen with Pisces Venus people. But of course, he had different aspects, and you have wow, you have an unaspected Venus. So that actually is interesting, because that indicates that you could be very, very, very love oriented, very relationship oriented. I think what you have to watch out for is that you have to find ways to not when you're dealing with emotions. You have to think of them as energies, right? Every emotion is an energy, and it's difficult to tap into it, right? Especially as an Aquarius moon, there can be an ability to, let's say the emotional stimuli happens, right? Something happens to you, and let's say your brother or some shit, I don't know. Let's say your brother has a Cancer moon. Your dad says something mean or some shit. I can't think of anything. Or your dad moves to freaking Thailand. I don't know, whatever. You as an Aquarius, I'm just using this as an example, might not feel the emotional impact of that till 6 months later. And you still might not Aquarius moons, they it's not that they're not emotional. Every moon sign, everyone is emotional. You have in the 8th house of Scorpio. It's that they have this on-off switch, it seems with emotions, which can make them super good leaders, and super it's so good for when you need to get something done, right? Because the Cancer, if your brother was in this case, the Cancer, he might cry and cry and cry, and maybe for a month not be able to do anything, and you're still able to handle your life and everything, but then he gets out of his system. So that's why it's important for you as an 8th house moon in where's that other book I have? Books. Okay, here it is. I get messages. I know you probably have the same thing. You get messages do this, do that, downloads and stuff. I got a message to read this. Is this even the one? Yeah. Okay. So moon in the 8th house. And we'll talk about like the sign of the moon and compare it to the sun. The moon in the 8th house. Where you at, moon? It's hiding. The moon in the 8th house suggests a person very sensitive to social currents and social demands, a reflector of collective destiny. This may mean a passive kind of sacrifice to the interest of the collectivity. The scientist Pasteur I know I'm French, whatever, provides us with more fortunate demonstrations of lives consecrated to the improvement of human relationships and human living. The configuration is also seen in the natives of the religious reformer Martin Luther and also in blah, blah, blah. So I didn't really tell shit. But yeah, it's like a sacrifice to the collective, right? Which I see in your chart. And Neptune's there too. So I think what's really important for you and your moon square Saturn, so that's going to make it even more difficult until you're like around 30, where it's going to, the energies will open up, is to make yourself vulnerable emotionally, right? And to try to get in touch with your emotions, right? There may be issues with your father, or excuse me, with your mother, because it's the moon. And as an Aquarius moon, Aries sun, it can make you very headstrong, right? But then you also have this very sweet side, right? Which is like the Mercury and Venus and Pisces. We'll talk about that. But like overall, there's this real indicator in your chart as someone who needs to really get deep within themselves, right? And I think that being of service to humanity is something like in past lives that comes very naturally to you, right? Like you have your south nodes. This is another reason of like why you were naturally drawn to me to be your astrologer, because I have my north node, which is like the destiny mark in astrology. And it's the opposite. There's a south node and the north node. They're in opposite parts of the chart, right? South node is like who you've been, your past life tendency to been there, done that. It's like if you watch sports, it's like a layup, right? It's the easy way. The north node is like a 3-pointer. It's like the mountain never climbed in past lives. And they're always exact opposites, right? So we actually have opposite, like my north node, or my south node, like the been there, done that for me is where you're trying to get, and vice versa. Like the been there, done that for you is where I'm trying to get. So that's why I can really speak to this, right? But there's definitely an energy in your chart, right, where there's a need to move toward this authentic self-expression. Which what I mean by that, a metaphoric example would be like when you write a poem, right? Like I have a whole book of poems that I wrote years ago. I haven't wrote a poem in a long time, but I was going through a time where I needed to like figure out a way. I didn't really show anyone. Like I needed to figure out a way how without like, you know, I wrote a book too, Pisces Live 9 Lives. Just check it out on Amazon if you want to. It's not an astrology book, but 1 second. I just have to hold up 1 second. 1 second. Yeah, so the chart just disappeared. So yeah, it's really important to get in touch with the emotions, maybe journal and you know, and try really hard not to repress them, because that tendency can be there. But like I said, you know, Aquarius moons can really have an ability to, like I said, like they can use logic over emotions. Sometimes they don't trust emotions. A lot of times like the mother was kind of potentially like cold or distant, you know, maybe even like just like not very, like not there enough, I guess you could say, or just like very independent and very individualistic. It's tough to say, but in your case with the Saturn square and the Uranus there, I would, you know, to me that would make me think that like on some level, like maybe like definitely like a very individualistic type of individual, but that maybe there's some level where like when you have moon square Saturn, there can be like issues with depression, like not having had enough nurturing, like from the mother when young, and it can lead to like lots of emotion, like relationship problems, right? And even loneliness, right? So it's really important to know about like, I don't think you got a follow-up, did you? If you didn't get a follow-up and you're interested in one, I'd say 95% of people get the follow-ups. It's just like a session where we can kind of talk about, compare like what I said with like your lived experience. I can do those either over a phone call or Zoom. Just let me know, and I can definitely like give you a really good price for that. I'd only charge you like $90 instead of like $135, and you can just remind me of that. It's an hour session. But yeah, so yeah, it's really, really important, like the emotional distance you had to your parents when you were, and it could be like real or imagined, right? Because everyone's different when you're young, right? And like the more conflicted and unhappy you felt as a child, the more like issues of like depression and stuff like that can show up as a teen or adult or whatever, right? But a lot of times there's like one or both parents failed to make like the emotional connection that you wanted, and there can be feelings of like abandonment, being rejected, unlovable, stuff like that. So yeah, obviously it can really affect someone's self-esteem. It can make someone have like very melancholic periods of time where they just don't feel worthy, right? They don't feel worthy, but it's karma. It's meant to be, right? It's meant to be because on some level you signed up for this to happen, right? On a karmic level. And you know, friendships, like where you find the right kinds of friends, where it's based on like real, like authentic, like I really like these people because and they like for the right reasons, like that's huge, right? Even like group activities, like playing sports, like anything that you can do in a group can be is super beneficial for you. But yeah, there can like you really have to work hard, like to to not isolate yourself. And by the way, if we do a follow-up, like we talk, like I might have like a group that you might naturally really flourish in, but you gotta, yeah, we gotta talk. Yeah, so there can be like also like a inability to control your emotions. I think with Saturn and the moon, there can be like sometimes an over seriousness that can be kind of flow killing. And yeah, it can just make it so like the emotional nature just doesn't flow as naturally. But the whole point of it is that it's pushing you into this like you're really trying to go through this like this death, rebirth, and transformation of your emotional nature, right? And the whole point of this is people who have this, like a lot of them have very successful lives, right? Like a quick look at celebrities who have this, it's ridiculous, it's very, very prominent, right? Because and anything with this aspect, right? Like it makes the first 30 years, they can be difficult, but they don't have to be, right? They don't have to be. But like I think the moon conjunct Uranus, it can make one feel a little bit like ostracized in a sense, unless they find their real tribe, the real people that they're really meant to be with. And once they find people like that, then they start to realize like, shit, I'm just special. I'm not weird. I'm special. Because Aquarius moon people can kind of feel like the odd one out, right? Because they feel like why do I see things so differently? Why do my emotional needs as an Aquarius moon are so much different than the normal person in this society, right? But like, yeah, so it's yeah, it's definitely an interesting moon when coupled with Aries, because it's I think Kyrie Irving has this. I think he's an Aries Aquarius, yeah. So it's someone who's not afraid at all to be like a pioneer and to be like that different kind of person, right? So yeah. And then with your Uranus, like you have to watch out for wanting too much stimulation and being too obsessed with like the new, having an emotional need for like the new and the shiny. That can definitely have an effect on relationships. Yeah, Moon and Aquarius, like in relationships, they're gonna usually need lots of space, but you do have Venus in Pisces, which that is an energy of someone who likes to kind of become one with their partner. But yeah, so like just like don't take too many risks, you know, like unhealthy risks. Like you're a natural risk taker. But like really what you want most is to feel like you're an integral and valued part of your family and in like, you know, family, social circle, community, whatever you want to say. But like with that Saturn square, it can really make you feel like an outsider. And with this, it could also have, depending on like really depending on, that's why I think you should definitely, if you can afford it or whatever, get a follow up. Because and you have to, if you do that, you'll have to like remind me of these things. I'll forget everything. Like after I'll forget everything until I see the chart again. Like it really depends on how you were with the family, how included you felt. Because yeah, like there's lots of effort to feel included in whatever you're a part of, right? Whatever you really like, you want to be a part of, to really truly feel included and not feel like an outsider. But with that said, the fact that you're an Aries, right? Aries naturally like they're not a sign that's like socially awkward, even though like Uranus conjunct Moon can make someone a little bit socially awkward. And I mean not that wrong one. The square of Saturn, the Moon conjunct Uranus can make someone super fucking psychic, as I said, but and super in touch. Like meditating would be the best thing for you ever, because you can just like really like get downloads and just like really diving into different philosophies. You know, whatever, regardless of what it is, like Buddha, like I don't know, like things like you would be a natural in astrology, you know, or anything like related to that, whatever your version of that is, something that helps you understand your complex self better, right? But yeah, so that's kind of that. So yeah, so Sun Aries in 10th house, it means that your career and what you're like, whatever house the sun is in, that is that's like where you're meant to shine, right? And in the 10th house, it means that you're meant to shine in that Aries way, which Aries, as you know, I don't really go into sun signs here. Like I expect the minimum of my clients that they know their sun sign. You know, about how freedom loving and assertive and like a strong need for independence and just that dominant Aries, you know, like it can be so fucking stubborn. But like they're the ones that like they love the challenge. They're very competitive. It's that most fiery energy in astrology, right? They can sometimes on a low end be like kind of a bully, but they're definitely not the bullied. And it's all good aspects. So if the sun represents your father, like, which it doesn't always, it could be like flip flop. There's definitely one parent that there's a really good relationship with, which if it's the sun and the sun is your father, and then one that there's a lot of difficulty with. That's what this is showing me. And the sun is usually the father. It's not always the father. So it's the more dominant parents. So yeah. But yeah, like that, whoever that, if that's your dad, like it could be someone who you know helps you a lot in your career, or who like is very inspirational to you in that area of life. And yeah, there's like no difficult aspects. Like it's like just like trying, you know, like Pluto. So it's like, yeah, someone who helps you really achieve like your real evolutionary goals. So we combine these all together, you know, with Cancer rising, and you see how Cancer rising is gonna really, you know, like I think it's like if there was any potential for like the ostracism, I forget English. I live in Romania now. Like I forget English. Being ostracization, ostracized. If there's any potential, I can't say it, too dumb in English. If there's any like of that potential of being ostracized, being kind of like left out, like being like a loner, like the Cancer rising, yeah, it will make you more shy, but you know you will be able to like kind of form like you'll have the appearance of being very calm, very chill, and people will feel very comfortable coming to you. So it's a very good one when you mix all of these. Now, with that said, by the way, I haven't looked at a single photo of you. Like I do this on purpose. I know nothing about you. I thought you would be born in 1976, but no. And I just have you as John D.G. Dolce & Gabbana. So Yeah. Where to go next? So that's kind of like the big three, kind of how they mix and match. There's lots of potentials. Now, Mercury, in Venus are in the ninth house, conjunct the midheaven in Pisces. So to me, you could be someone that has a career that's in the arts potentially, that's somehow related to this very beautiful Venus and Pisces energy, which Venus and Pisces is like the energy of like ultimate compassion, and it's a double-edged sword though. So it gives you the most romantic energy, like just the ability to like really just it doesn't get more romantic to have spiritual relationships where you're able to see the potential in someone and really give true deep love. But the double-edged sword, I already warned you, because it's on an angle, it's on the MC, so it is very a career oriented one. Like lots of people I know who are artists, they have Venus on the MC. So maybe like art is something that you can like that can be your channel. Maybe you are a genius artist, who knows? But yeah, like there's like this real desire to merge and be at one with your partner, right? Which kind of goes against the Aquarius moon mantra of like, I want to be my own person. So that's kind of a back. That's like another reason why I want to have a follow up with you, because like that's kind of like, I'm curious how that relates to your lived experience. How do you navigate that when there's that, like two conflicting energies? And there's other energies like your Mars and Taurus conjunct Uranus. That's like, you got to watch out for excess, like hedonism type shit, like with that one, right? Venus and Taurus loves like the senses. It can overeat, it can over sex, it can over whatever the fuck, over. One sec, my girlfriend's on her way back from Italy and she texted me. Hold up. Anyways, so yeah, but like with the Pisces energy, it's like it's just like, yeah, it's very romantic. It's non-aspected, so non-aspected Pisces, Venus and Pisces, like you might be someone who's very very romantic, and even your moon in the eighth house, moon Aquarius, right? There's this need. So like the sun part of you, the Aries, is like you really want to shine in whatever career you choose. But then the fact that your midheaven, which relates to your career, is in Pisces and it's conjunct Venus and Mercury, it means many things. It means that career might be really related to the arts. It might be really related to like something very compassionate, like giving back in some type of way. But then Mercury conjunct midheaven, it creates an energy where you might have like a career switch. You could be the kind of person who has like the money maker and then the hobby that you one day wish to turn into the career. So it's really important for you at a young age, which you're very young, to start really investing in your hobbies, right? And maybe you've already done this. I mean, I'm proud of you, that I know you, that you've gotten this reading. I'm always like very proud of my young clients, because I'm like, you guys are fucking geniuses. You guys, and it doesn't surprise me, like this energy of Venus, of Aquarius, moon conjunct Uranus. That's a genius energy, like low key, and it's a hidden genius, right? Because everything in the eighth house is hidden. So you might be like a hidden genius. Yeah, no comments on my point, from my part. And I was referring to the fact that I have that going on, because I just realized how I said that, and that may have been, never mind. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So speaking on being a hidden genius, right? And by genius, I don't mean like IQ 6,500 for 400. I mean like someone who just is different, who thinks different, who thinks deeper, who thinks, outside the box. One second, right? But like, so yeah, like, hold up. All right. So yeah, it's difficult being like that because like people can be jealous of you. And you with that square, you might not even see that in yourself because you might lack self-esteem to know like you are a genius, but you just have to be around the right people, which is shown. I'm gonna flash your chart again. It's shown by that 11th house, right? That 11th house, which is the house of groups, friends, people, associations that you're part of, things that you where you combine with others, right? This is interesting to me, right? Because you have Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn there. So I already started talking about Mars and Jupiter together, which can be like in Taurus, right? Which can be like an energy of like just engaging too much in the senses, you know? So you have to watch out for that, right? It's better to find the highest energy of Taurus. Like maybe where instead of if there's overeating, maybe like do like a bunch of like something earthy, like hiking, right? Like overindulge in hiking and getting in nature. Um, I did yoga for like 6 months, like Kundalini yoga. I found it like life changing, powerful stuff. Um, but like really, or meditating, right? That's another thing. Maybe like being a chef, like you're very multi-talented, right? Like anything that involves like the gardening, right? Touching earth, like anything that involves the senses. You can have this ability to really, 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 really become great at. Now, with all this said, yeah, the hidden genius thing, it's difficult. And it can really hurt one's ego when you feel like you're smarter and more intelligent than like most, people you've ever met. And you've been told this by, like multiple people. But then because it's in the 8th house, it's hidden, right? So the rest of the world, they see the Cancer, which might be, quite not average, but like it won't necessarily stand out, but they don't see this. They don't see what's hidden here. So it's all about finding here the proper people who will ground you. Taurus is about grounding. Now, as I was saying, there could Saturn in the 11th house people, they tend to like really take, like it's really hard for like them to like let people in. They tend to kind of like buy the Saturn return like around age 30. But you do have other energies here. You have Jupiter, so Jupiter kind of offsets that. But usually like a lot of like really, really karmic friends come in your life around like 30, but Jupiter offsets it. So Jupiter in Taurus in the 11th house with Mars there is going to actually be very good for popularity. So with both there, I think that, yeah, you'll be quite particular about who you really, really let in. But then I think you'll have lots of luck with who you meet, that kind of thing. Now, back to the Venus and the Mercury and the Mars. We want to get through the personal plans before it's like the big three: Sun, Moon, Ascendant, and then Mercury, Mars, and Venus. Those are the personal plans. They're real conscious parts to our personality. They'll have functions. Then the outer planets are a bit different. They're more karmic, more ruling like karma in different areas of our life. So, Mercury conjunct midheaven, like I told you before, it's in Pisces. That's someone who could have like a job where you're using your voice in a very compassionate way. Think, like I always say, therapist. There's a million different ways, and you can use your imagination of what that is. It could be a singer, it could be a professional singer. Who knows? But yeah, like there's definitely that potential. And Neptune is ruling your midheaven, and it's in the 8th house. So it's to me it's conjunct your south node. People who have Neptune conjunct south node are people who have past life mystical talents. That's why you're born in 2000 and you're seeking this astrology reading at this age, because you are literally in past lives, you've been an astrologer, you've been a mystic, you've been someone who just naturally, like you just naturally get this stuff. It's amazing. At your age, I did not, and I have that same thing, like I no, actually that's not a lie. That's a lie. It's not a lie. It's not a fact. I did get it. I just wasn't like ready to really like accept it, because I knew what it entailed in terms of my life and where I was at. And you really want to know, buy my book. It's a long story. Okay, I think I can unshare this now. But basically, what we're seeing here is the classic combination of a past life mystic who's trying to like take these talents into this new lifetime, right? And you know, and I think that there needs to be an outlet, if there isn't already, for this energy. And there can be a million different things. I believe that you're very, very creative, and that that you can come up with what that is. Now, backing up a little bit, right? Backing up a little bit. When I said that Neptune is ruling your midheaven, it means that there's going to be in some way you'll find something, like in this, like something like astrology or psychology, or something that's esoteric. It could be something completely different. It could be like something that's like very inventive, right? Because it's Aquarius, but something that is of service to humanity, right? And something that's very like it could be like some form of healing, of healing, of therapy, something like that. It could be anything, right? Mental health, but it's something that's going to push, like I think would push the world further, right? Because Aquarius is a sign of the inventor, and I think that your career will have some link to your past lives, into the wisdom and to the natural wisdom that you will carry over. Like, for example, me, I'm like, the ultimate past life like mystic, right? Like astrologer. I learned in 6 months. After 6 months, I was like, I was like, I could speak with my friend who had 10 years of experience in astrology. I was like on her level. It was crazy. I was reading like books, like I had one here, like nonstop. So you'll know when that thing comes, because I mean, your passion may not show up like that, but you're an Aries, you have fire like me, so it's like, you'll know what it is, right? If that is something like more spiritual, or eighth house can also be like crime stuff, like understanding the underworld, right? Anything that's unseen, the gates to the unknown. That's like what I think you'd be very interested in. Now, moving forward, with the Venus and Pisces just on its own, like you have to really watch out for boundaries in relationships, and also having. So now here's the relationship segment, love segment. So rose-colored glasses in relationships, you really have to watch out for that. Like, why that's so important is that you can really see there can be a tendency for that person that has that to like my friend, to see the potential of someone, or to have a fog come up in regards to how they see them. And because you have an unaspected, meaning that there's not an important aspect from another planet to Venus, it makes it so relationships are very, very important for you. And you can be very, like, maybe even obsessed with relationships and finding that true love and all that. They're not that good. I'm just joking. I'm in a relationship now, and it's like, what I can tell you as an old man, no, is that I think it's the relationships that feel the most normal. Like, I think it's all cap, it's all bullshit. Like this thing of like, love at first sight. I mean, I guess it exists for people, but I think that like the relationships that are really like there, like you feel like you've known them for a really long time, and there might even be like less excitement, like you know what I mean? But they just work, because you feel so comfortable and you feel like you can be your complete self. And yeah, there's fights, there's karma and stuff, but they just work. And then, yeah, love is a weird thing. It's different for everyone. But with the Pisces, Venus, there can be a tendency to like want to spectacularize love as this thing that can really get them in trouble, like the whole Disneyland thing. So really take your time in relationships, ask your friends for advice. If you are in a relationship, that's another part of astrology. Like I do compatibility readings, and I swear to God, I'm not like marketing myself. I let people know who I sense might one day need them. Those can be done with anyone, like with like not just relationships, like family, friends, business partners, whatever. But I see mad creative energy in you. Also the fact that like your Mercury's there, right? Your Mercury square Pluto. So in Pisces, Mercury, Pisces, right? That's I have that too, but you have that. Okay, thank God. You have what I have. The sextile Saturn via square Pluto. So that Saturn is gonna really save you because Mercury in Pisces can be so fucking broad, and it's square. Oh, it's square Jupiter too. So here's the download with your Mercury. You understand me because I speak in metaphors. I speak in colors. My way of speaking is not understood by everyone like it is by you because we speak the same language, right? But sometimes Mercury and Pisces people can be a little bit too broad for some other people, right? It's highly intuitive, and it's literally the connection between you and the other side is the Mercury and Pisces. Pisces, it's really good with imagination, intuition, but and like even like reading other people's thoughts. But they can also have difficulty like distinguishing like reality from fantasy, and they can have difficulty with boundaries. And like it's important for you with that to Venus and Mercury to take time alone when you've been around people for too long. You know what I mean? And to see like if you're around someone, let's say you're around a friend, right? And you start to think a certain way. Go alone and really be mindful, meditate and try to see like you'll learn a lot about other people and how they think based on like when you take how you feel when you're alone, then you're with them for a while, and then you're alone and you subtract like that, whatever that is, right? So that's important. Yeah, also just like Mercury and Pisces, it's just like there can be like this real dreaminess, this sometimes like this fantasizing, which can also relate to the love stuff. But like it makes for a tremendous creative type. Like, and you're from New York, so like like it's like there's I don't know where Islip is. Is that the one? Is that this? No, I'm thinking of Rye. Is it upstate? Town? Oh, it's in Long Island. It's close to the city. Oh yeah, okay, whatever. So you're from Long Island. Yeah, so you're from okay. So yeah, you're from Long Island. One sec. God, New York is so crazy looking. Just like in a cool way. Like, wow. Okay, whatever. So yeah, like you live in an area where that is valued, right? You're not from like shit fuck Oklahoma, and not to diss on Oklahoma, shout out Oklahoma, but like you could do something in the arts. I'm just telling you right now, and you're very very gifted in that area. And it comes from past lives. But this is the thing. I'm about to drop this bomb on you. It's gonna explode. No, I'm not. But I'm gonna drop this bomb after I sip this. So check this out. I could have told you everything I just told you. But the point for you is that as a North Node in Leo, meaning that you are trying to become more Leo, you have a tendency to be Aquarius conjunct Neptune. So your past life tendency is someone who is so compassionate, who is so there for the people, who is so ready to be. I always say, like, Aquarius is the we, Leo is the me, right? So you in this life, and this might sound very weird, are trying to learn how to be a little bit more selfish, right? You're trying to learn how to take all that past life, / current life creativity and make something tangible out of it, right? You're trying, I talk to so many clients and so many people, they all agree. And there's a reason I get so many South Node Aquarius. I should count how many I get, but I'm not going to because that takes a lot of work. But it's a lot. And the reason is because I'm Leo as fuck. I'm a Leo guy. I'm Pisces, but I have a lot of Leo. And Leo is about unapologetically expressing your true individualism while giving zero fucks. You know, I mean, that's also what Aquarius is, but just differently, right? So Leo North Node is saying you need to take a creative risk on yourself in this lifetime, my friend. Now, does that mean that you're supposed to not be of service? No, because you're one of these real talented people. So you're one of these people that has like lots of different purposes in your life. But one of them is to take time alone and to, you know, to focus on the me and to try to create something and to try to test the waters creatively, right? So mega important, mega important. And the second house, it's about developing values that like it's almost like you know how when you meditate, maybe you don't. When there's times of crisis, when you're used to meditating during the good and the bad, when there's times of crisis that come, you just know how to handle shit. Like you don't freak out because like that's what meditating does to your brain, and like it's cumulative. Like it doesn't go away. Like I could not meditate for a year, and like there could be a crisis right this second, and I would stay calm. It'd be hilarious if it happened, and then I just freaked the fuck out. But like, you get the point, right? Like you keep like that's kind of what it is. It's like building internal values within yourself, internal not values, wrong word, Jesse. Internal mechanisms of strength that where you don't have to depend on other people, and that you can turn to. So that's really important. What's another way I could say that? Yeah, like a quest for a set of personal values. And yeah. So it's also, you know, a quest to develop inner strength, right? Like there can be like lots of, like as I said before, like loneliness that you've experienced, right? You may have experienced, right? But these times are actually part of your lesson to actually forge your own creative life. So it's during these times of loneliness that you're meant to be like that, to where you can like really like get deep and take these creative risks, right? And get into that, you know. So I would tell you to meditate. I would tell you to write down, dream journal, right? Just do it. Trust me. Just do it. If you don't do it already, like you will see how crazy this shit is, especially with your chart. And just take creative risks. Try tons of shit. Who gives a fuck? You know? Like it's a blessing. People think, oh, I want to have and you might be popular as fuck. You might have a million friends, but still make time for you. Trust me, if you take this advice, you're gonna message me in 10 years and you're like, you were right. You know? Because like the people you know now are not gonna be in your life later. You are, you know? And a lot of people, they just kind of go with how other people are. And I don't think that's how you are. I'm just saying you might have some creative genius in you. And it'd be a shame if you didn't really completely go into that shit. So let's see here. So yeah, that's kind of that. Relationship stuff a little bit more. I think like, you know, having the Mars there, you'll be very sensual, very like you know. I also, even besides relationships, you'll go towards your goals in a very kind of steady and methodical way, which works really well for having an Aries sun, right? Because you can really like have like, you'll have very strong personal desires, right? And follow like a reliable course of action, which, and you can be very, very stubborn also, like if you're opposed, for sure. But am I seeing this correctly? You do have, you know, a square with Mars and Neptune. I gotta warn you on this, my friend. Watch out for substances. They're not your friend. Substances are not your friends. There can be, this is an ultra creative placement, but it's also another placement of like escapism. And you really want to watch out for that. Because, you know, like that's like people that have addiction problems can often be seen with, you know, Mars square, Mars opposite. I want to find one thing in this book. The fuck did I do? For fuck's sake, why would I just... Why did I not mark the page? No, it's not here. Yeah, I'm gonna psychically find it's right. No. It's like right. Okay. So I think this is for, yeah. So when it says Moon and Uranus, right? It says strong. It says an original, highly individual personality. Native may be considered eccentric, unusual, will not conform or be restricted. So I like to see these like kind of like basic definitions sometimes. And then Sun and Saturn, it says indicates disappointments and obstacles. Subject must overcome hindrances and feelings of inadequacy. So see, it's a nice little like combination to like what I've been saying. But with the Mars square Neptune, and then you also have Mercury square Pluto, right? So the Mercury square Pluto, illogical reasoning, nervous tension. Native tends to rush into commitments before considering actions, which also you have the square with isn't it? No, that's not, no. That's Jupiter is square the south node. The south node, and yeah, the south node. Yeah, okay, so never mind. Is that correct? Yeah. So no Jupiter, but yeah. So that's, you know, the Mercury square Pluto. It's like it can create really intense energy because, you know, you have that Mercury, like the way of communicating and thinking that's very spiritual, but you know, with the Pluto there, right, with the square with Pluto, it can just make, it can cause lots of like darkness to come through like different thoughts. Like it gives you such a deep and complex nature that like if you have like a major crisis and or like difficult like family experience, like you might meet like your darkness through like your communications, or maybe you have like very strong opinions that you get like lots of criticism and pushback, right? And it creates like lots of very intense interactions with other people and very mentally challenging ones, right? And when people, when they have this, they can take on a very defensive attitude. And they can tend to like, because they have like, you would have probably such strong opinions, you can attract other people like that, right? So the key is to not associate yourself too much with your ideas and what you believe in, right? Which is hard as fuck, right? As an Aries, you can be very headstrong. So like it's difficult. I know I've been through the same thing. So yeah, the key is to evolve into a more diplomatic way of communicating and all that stuff. Now, okay, with the Mars and Neptune, it says here, prone towards negative escapism in alcohol or drugs. Native may be oversensitive, waste energy in hopeless causes. So when I look at that, when I think about that with your chart, I think about like how if love, like you really have to be careful with love, and that in that time alone, if that is something that's real, finding the well of optimism, which this is the good thing, is that Mars is conjunct Jupiter. So that does indicate that there is that high potential for being able to have that well of optimism, right? but yeah, it can be difficult to have, you know, Mars square Neptune. I've seen a lot of my clients, and I think it gives this like it gives this desire, just like it makes someone who definitely fights for the underdog. And yeah, someone who just like will prefer to like live in the fantasy world than in their own world, right? And that can cause issues, whether it's like video games or like, you know, you can think of a million ways where escapism can like can come in. Drugs, sex, video games, whatever, right? So it's all about channeling into something real. All right. So let me skip steps. Nope. Okay. Also, I think that like you're probably at a young age, you probably received like some pain, some level of pain around your level of like intelligence. Like you're probably you could be a genius. I'm just telling you that, but you may like it's a very hidden genius, and you may have really felt at a young age like gotten this energy, this feedback from people around you that like because of these intense like this very different way of seeing reality that other people don't see, like even like you like being even like ahead of your parents potentially, um you know, it could really have led you to like not want to like open your mouth and not want to speak. But this is the thing, it's in Sagittarius, your Chiron, right? So to me, that's saying that like you're meant to really heal the part of yourself by understanding things like astrology, things like different philosophies, by just exploring, right? And this is you see you have so many missions, right? So many things you're meant to do. That you might one day be able to really be like a teacher in the sense that you've learned a lot and you're able to teach other people about the things you learned. Now, I already hinted at this, and this is what astrology does. Which is like the divine language, right? Is that I already hinted at this, and now it's coming up in a different way. Black Moon Lilith in Sag literally is the energy that I just said, right? About wanting to kind of like not force, like not always force your opinions on other people, but it comes from this deep desire of like it's like I've discovered so much amazing shit, and I want the people I love to just give it a chance, to just try it out. And sometimes you have to learn that like, you know, everyone learns at their own time, you know, and you can't force someone to learn and to be into what you're into, right? It just doesn't work out. It has to come from them, and that can be really difficult. Less than it was for me. 1 second, I'm still here. But yeah, Mars and Jupiter in the 11th. I mean, all the energy in the 11th house. It's gonna be good for you long term, and in terms of like, you know, right, meeting the right like kinds of people, friends, associations, organizations, whatever it is. I told you, if we do a follow up, or even if not, you can still message me, and I might have an idea of something that you might, you know, enjoy being a part of. Just message me. So that's that. And yeah, I definitely see traveling also is something in your chart. Venus in the 9th house loves to travel, loves to experience and broaden their worldview through different cultures, and also different like traveling physically and metaphorically. So, you know, very intellectual. It's also very good for higher education. Yeah, like going back to so yeah, more of the love stuff. So you need someone who's going to understand you and your unconventionality, right? That's one. It's not that hard to find a spiritual girl. It's hard for a girl to find a spiritual guy, but for like, I mean, I keep assuming people's sexuality. I swear probably the majority of my male clients are gay. I think. Actually, no, not always. Maybe 50-50. But I do get quite a few male clients. It's yeah. So I can't assume that. So yeah, I don't know. Like, but basically having like so love stuff. So having someone that understands that individuality. That's one. In your Juno, your ideal mate is someone who is in the 8th house in Aquarius. So it's literally the same thing. It's like you're looking for someone who is also very eccentric, beats the beat of their own drum, freedom seeking, freedom giving, right? who has their own like interesting philosophies where there's a real intellectual connection, right? But also like where you guys can kind of be aliens together, which is very, very nice. And it's linked to the South Node, so it'll probably be very, very karmic relationship. Now, descendant in Capricorn is pretty much just saying that, like, you know, and it goes well with your Mars in Taurus, that you tend to, you'll want the more reliable, like also someone that's very reliable in the sense that you know they're not going to cheat on you. You know they're not gonna, you know they're not gonna fuck you over, right? You know that they that you guys are both having this idea of creating this really stable and strong foundation that you can build that skyscraper Empire State Building as your metaphoric relationship on, right? But this foundation is what takes the longest. And if there's not a strong foundation, I don't give a fuck how pretty that building looks, it can come falling down, right? So, you know, the fact that you're going to be so tapped into like the energies of other people and the energies of like the collective, you definitely have a gift there. But I also think that you're someone that needs touch. You're someone that needs like that close emotional love, right? Someone who, you know, someone who needs like with Mars in the sensual sign of Taurus, like it's a very sexual, like super sexual energy, right? It might be someone who just wants to have a fuck ton of sex. Then Venus in romantic Pisces, like I feel like I've given you more of the negative side of that, but like I did tell you, it's like the most romantic fucking placement of Pisces. Like it might be some people like say in astrology, it's Libra and Taurus are the dignity positions of Venus, right? But like you can make the debate, right, that Pisces Venus is better, just in terms of like creativity, and like the connection to music, the arts, how romantic it is, right? So just you have to watch out for the rose-colored glasses, give things time, and have boundaries in love. That's what's so important. Have boundaries, right? And don't, like, you'll see, like you like this, the Pisces, this individual can convince themselves that they can convince themselves in their head that this person is someone that they're not. Yo, I went through crazy times, like with love and stuff, being a Pisces sun up until like, you know, a few years ago. Now I'm just fucking murdering it. And I'm joking. I've had the same girlfriend pretty much. Well, pretty much. We broke up for 9 months, but like, you know, it takes time to master these things, you know? And yeah, besides that, like Vertex in Scorpio, like in the 5th house, like once again, like, you know, higher awareness will be through like, you know, creative pursuits. And there's definitely like in relationships, you'll have like a certain dynamic of being like very in like you'll want to have very transformative, come off as like very like intense potentially and transformative within relationships. And you'll also really like, you know, your door to higher awareness is like doing inner child work, getting in touch with that inner child through creativity or whatever it is. All right, close to done here. You know, let's see. So we talked about that. I mean, yeah, talked about that. I mean, like Neptune in the 8th, it kind of goes along with everything I've been saying. It's just like being able to feel at one with others. Very, very, very talented. If you see my posts about like the talents for for the psychic potentials, I put Neptune 8th or 12th house. Like you can really, really like transcend daily life, which is like through your metaphysical studies and pursuits, and really, really able to sense emotional undercurrents. It's another marker of a psychic ability. So use that. I mean, I'm not saying like you have to follow that career path, but like, I mean, it's an advantage. You can use it in any career path. You could be like a businessman, like you can be anything, right? But you know, like some of the biggest businessmen in the world are cancers. Like you never expect that, but it's because they got that emotional intelligence, and they know who they can trust, and it's a very constant slow kind of sign. It's also opposite of Capricorn, which is another whole thing, which is like sometimes we behave more like our opposite sign. But if you want to know more about that, ask me. If you book the follow up, ask me about like the opposite sign thing. And I wrote a post about it lately. Okay, Chiron's in the sixth, and so this is kind of like the last house, with Pluto there. I've talked about Chiron already. Literally in the sixth house, that means that like being a healer could be like a part of your daily life, which is really cool. But you may also like suffer from feelings of physical inadequacy, or there may have been some kind of like physical pain as a child. And yeah, it's just like someone who can like be like a healer who teaches like specific techniques based on Sag, which is like about like philosophy and seeing the big picture and all that. Now the fact that Pluto's there in Chiron to me is like Pluto is a super important planet. I say it last for a reason. I don't always say it last. It's either North Node or Pluto. So your North Node is saying, be creative, take the risk in that way. The Pluto in the sixth house is saying something very different. It's saying that you need, for your highest evolutionary growth, right? You need to have like a really dialed in daily routine. And also like really recognize like the relationship between mind and body, right? And also it's kind of like contradictory to it because it's a very service oriented. Like I have this book, I always have access to this. I wrote this myself. So I like to kind of read from it. I like to call my Pluto book. It's getting all cringly now, and if it's sick. But basically, like, yeah, like there's like it's like it is a very like giving back is very important. Even though like you've done that a lot in past lives, you're still meant to really, really do that. So here it is, Pluto in the sixth house. So we see a transition here. That's a sharp contrast to the creative power of the subjective self shown with Pluto and Leo. It's talking about like how progression. The need arises in this lifetime to return to level ground and to reevaluate the self through fundamental reexamination. This placement seeks a reassessment of the self's drive to continuously authenticate itself, and instead seeks to deconstruct the self to place it at the service of others or of useful work. In this way, a profound humility is sought as the ego bows to larger forces and to a proper assessment of the self and the environment. This is all done so that the will can accept the other, relationships, and not be so self-centered. The question goes from how can I be special to how can I be useful. So you see how that. So it's contradicting the North Node in Leo, but what that's doing is that's saying that there's like kind of a double mission. Like yes, you have to on one end like be there for like yourself in the creative the whole creative process, but that creative process actually gives back to the process to the like collective humanitarian and everything I just talked about, like going to the we, right? So that's going to come very naturally through that Pluto, and because it's conjunct Chiron, you could be someone who's really like meant. Chiron is a wounded healer, someone who's really meant to help people heal at your young age. The fact that you're already like getting an astrology reading, the fact that you're already that open-minded, regardless of whether you believe in astrology or you're into astrology, like regardless of any of that, the fact that your age, that you have this age, that's crazy. And that's like, I got to apply to everyone who does that. Now, yeah. So one other thing is you'll feel very at ease when you find stable friend groups or like organizations or whatever it is that make you feel really grounded and make you feel like really, 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 really at home. That's like where lots of your joy can come from. And Mars will give you like a real push to go kind of towards those. Okay, before I end, I just want to like check and see if there's any stars that I need to mention. Let's see. So I see a really, really good omen for money. Sappho conjunct Venus, and also like very, very sexual. But that's a very good omen for money. Venus and Pisces also in terms of finances, I didn't really say this, can be a little bit broad in terms of how they spend. But they like to spend money on things like this. Like they like to spend money on things that are like more spiritual, like crystals, astrology readings, astrology classes, tarot readings, whatever it is, like things of beauty, art, stuff like that, Okay, so moon, none. Okay. So what is this? Is this thing lost its mind? Hold on, this is being bizarre. Why is it telling me that Regulus is in Taurus? Hold on, I need to reset this. Let's go to Jesse. Oh my god, I think my thing is tripping or something. Let's just do it like this. Let's go back to standard. This is super bizarre. Why? Okay, whatever. So okay, let's just see. I don't see any conjunctions. Okay. Okay, now let's go back out here and just see if we go back to relationships. This is so weird. A10. That's not. This is so weird. Okay, well, I can't trust this. I need to just go with website. I think I've had a lot of bizarre technology issues. Okay, now it's fucking showing. Okay, thank God. Okay, now it's showing Regulus at 20 and Leo. Okay, so now we have the real ones. Okay, so we can see. Okay, so nothing on the ascendant. Okay, nothing there. Nothing there. Okay, yeah, I know nothing there. I said that. Markab conjunct Venus also. So let's pull that up. Markab astrology. Oh yeah, also inheritances. I forgot to mention that. 8th house is all about inheritance and benefiting from other people's money. And I'm seeing some good stuff like for finances in your chart, like with your Venus and stuff. So yeah, let's see what this one's all about. Yeah, so Venus conjunct Markab, you have to watch out for excesses in terms of like drinking and stuff like that. And it's all good. Like I used to drink a shit ton. Like when I was drunk, I partied I partied a lot. I'm a Pisces and Sag Moon. I don't have nothing against that. I think it's a big part of like if that's what you want to do. It's just like you got to watch out, especially like these days, if you're living in America these days, you know, you really got to watch out. It wasn't like that when I was younger. But I honestly, I think like going out and partying is like, if that's like your personality type, then you should do it. But you should like, you got to also be careful of not overdoing it and kind of consistently like tracking yourself, like how am I doing? You know, how is it affecting me? You know, like measuring the pros and the cons. Okay, so this is working. So now let's just go to Jesse. This is like just my like list of fixed stars and asteroids. Okay, so still nothing for the ascendant. For the midheaven, we have interestingly your sun moon midpoint, which is like where like the middle between your sun and your moon is like very close to midheaven. So to me, it's saying that like the best, like your career can be like a channel from which you like like find the stabilization between that Aries part of you and that Aquarius part of you. All right, so nothing here, nothing there, nothing there. Okay. All right. So 11 and 20 Pisces. And then the final one, Jesse 2, and then I will just look on the website. Jesse 2 doesn't have shit. Okay, now let's just look at none. Okay, now let's just go to fixed start list. And let's just look at the big ones. 11 Cancer, 11 11. You have 11. Your ascendant's 11 Cancer and your sun's 11 Aries. 11. So these two, then midheaven is 20 Pisces. So 11. So 20. Not really anything for 11, 13. Yes, cats arrived. 11:46. It's like barely in there. Let's just see what it says. It's barely an orb. So with the sun, does it give anything? Nope. Okay. And then nope, nothing for Cancer. Taurus was 6 and 9, so we can look at that too. $740. So you have a loose conjunction with Mars and Hamal. Yeah, I feel like this one's gonna be fucked up. Yeah, it's like very violent, brute, cruel, premeditated crime. So you gotta watch out for this one. Let's see what it says. So yeah, Mars conjunct Hamal, violence. And remember, these are fixed stars, so it's like these are not super like this isn't like I would be worried about this if this was like within 0.010. This is like over a degree, so this isn't super like, it's just to know about. Violence, criminal tendencies, influential position, but final disgrace and ruin. But it's a semi-important one. Not that it's like not like such an important star. So 22, 20, 13 Pisces. 22, 20, 13. We talked about Mark Cab already, right? Yeah. Okay. I think that's oh yeah, 21 Aquarius though. Okay. Nashira. Never heard of that. And is it 20 point? It's 21.22. So Nashira. It's very unknown. It's not really giving much information. Let's see. It says so nature, blah blah blah. The fortunate one. A life full of change, which is really like on brand with your moon conjunct Uranus. There's an emotional need for change for you. This fixed star makes for integrity and justice and gives knowledge of man. Therefore, we see a refining Saturn influence. This will be achieved if the radical Saturn is well placed. Which it is. It's not badly placed. I mean, I guess it's not amazingly placed because it has a square with the sun. It's not horrible. Social popularity and political success. Okay, and even the traditional astrologers saw it this way, and they're saying that that's rare. It's one of those rare stars reckoned as good even by the traditional astrologers. They saw it rightly as an indicator of social popularity and political success. Okay. They saw it as a very good area of the sky. Focal center. That was all about good rulers and successful shakedowns. Good things happening. So yeah, good. It's good for leadership and yeah. So cool. All right, that's about it. So message me, let me know if you are wanting a follow-up. Definitely a good idea if you're able to afford it and such. And I said $90 for you. You'll have to remind me I gave you that price. So yeah, thank you. And thanks for being patient. And I hope you enjoy this. All right. Ciao.